Right, here we go. Okay, welcome back. Now let's do the outside of this now, make it look pretty. I've got to mould in these little tubes, make them look half decent, and then get a skin of filler primer over the outside of it, just like, because it's been fabricated and welded and reshaped to death, so it just needs a little bit of shapeage, so it looks quite nice. And then a good couple of thick coats of wheel silver, like the rest of the bodywork, or the rest of the bike, ready for the Max to come and do his magic. So obviously, that can't be painted until it warms up in here. As you saw, it's 8 degrees, that's far too cold to paint. But in the meantime, I can do all the bodywork, and with the heater on, it should be warming up. It's already warmed up from what 8 that it was to about 12 already. That thing blasts out quite a lot of heat, so that'd be cool. No problem at all, get stuck in with this. Once this is done, that is all the fabrication and all the bodywork made. I've got to revisit most of it to do little tweaks and that, but there's no actual fabrication projects left on this for now. I can start getting stuck into the other stuff. Got to replace all the brake discs, chain and sprockets, rear suspension unit, there's bushes, bearings, all sorts of things that have got to be replaced and refurbished for the rest of the project till it's done. So we're looking at that into the new year. But for the weekend I've got something completely different, not related to bikes. Going to make something very cool for Penny Pit Stop. Thought you might like that. Some fun, interesting processes you might like to watch. That's coming at the weekend for now. Let's get stuck into this. Shut up, get on some work. Right, there we are, that's all done. Drying times, you know the drill, can't do any more now. Just a little tip for you, if you're going to do this kind of thing yourself, leave the heat on in your garage. I've got it up to 23, 24 degrees now from about, what was it, 8 this morning when I first came in. And it would be all bad to now open the garage door, bring the other bikes in, turn all the heat off and just go home. Because then the temperature in here will drop really quickly and that will cause the paint to react. You can get like a cracking effect, I think called crazing, and that's when the different layers of paint are drying at different rates. That means that the skin on the outside is dried faster than the stuff underneath, and therefore it shrinks and it cracks and crazes up. So I'm sure you've all had reactions at some point or another, and if I can give you any advice at all, if I'm worthy to give advice on paint, I'm not particularly a paint specialist, but done lots of rattle can paint in my life, made lots of mistakes, and I know for sure never ever drop the temperature really quick after you finish painting. Just leave it on. I'm going to leave it 20-24 degrees right now for about the next 3 hours. That will give that a good chance to do the basic initial evaporation, and then I'll drop the temperature down here to about 15 and I'll leave it that way overnight, and then by the time tomorrow comes that should still look like that, hopefully. Now that is just a base coat. As I've probably said 100 times on all the other stuff with the bike, this silver wheel silver base coat is something that Mackie asked me to put on there because it's a base coat for what he's going to do afterwards. Whatever we choose to do, the silver base coat has been a theme right the way throughout, so I might as well do the same in this. And being a base coat, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you've got close-up vision, you can see that there are little blemishes on it still, and I could take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours just chasing those out, little tiny bits of filler and resanding and refilling and resanding, and each time it's half an hour to 2 hours to let the paint dry, and then do it again, then recoat it. So it's days and days of work to chase that and get it absolutely perfect. But there's no need because it's a base coat, and as a base coat it's going to be just sanded back. Any little blemishes will be dealt with. It will get a flick of the silver base coat back over the top to reactivate it, and then it will start getting the artwork put on, and so on and so on. So that really, as a base coat, is just a preparatory coat, just to keep it from rusting and to give us the basis that we want for the artwork that's coming in the future. And I can bolt it on and it looks like the rest of the bike. There we are. So after this is done, that's the fabrication. That's it, finished. I can't do any more to this. I've now got to start looking at the cycle parts. I've got brake discs to replace, brake pads, chains and sprockets, wheel bearings, swing arm bushes, rear shock absorber, all sorts of stuff to replace. I've got them all, I bought them a long time ago. They're all in that cupboard there, and that will be the next dozen or two videos on that bike once the new year comes. As for this weekend, I've got a rather interesting one coming. It's not motorcycle related, but it's going to be something really cool. I'm going to make something really cool for Penny, and she's given me a rough design idea, and I just want to get into that sort of thing, designing and making cool stuff. You might enjoy it, you might not, but I'm going to enjoy doing it, and I'll bring you along for the ride. So there we are, mudguard fabrication done. In fact, Kawasaki Street Fighter Project fabrication pretty much done, he ventured to say. Never say never. Right, there we go. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Ride safe. See you at the weekend.